everyone, and welcome to this episode of Spotlight North Carolina Cooperative Extension. I'm your host, Rebekah Benton. North Carolina Cooperative Extension is comprised of two land-grant universities, NC State University and NC A&T State University. Now today, I have with me returning guest, Lydia Miles. Lydia is our field crops agent here in Columbus County. Lydia, welcome.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be back.
So tell us a little, or tell the audience a little bit about what you do here in Columbus County.
Sure. I'm the field crops agent, as Rebekah mentioned. So my areas of expertise are corn, soybean, wheat, tobacco, what little we have left, and alternative field crops. We've got some new and upcoming crops in the area, so I focus on those as well. And then any pond questions that come through the office, I handle as well.
Okay, and today I think we're going to be talking a little bit about what's upcoming for next year. But I want to first start out with, how was the growing season this year?
Right, so the growing season, any growing season poses its own challenges. This year we struggled a lot with drought. As you probably know, we were really dry for quite a long period of time, and then we got out of drought really quickly, got a lot of rain all at once, and especially for corn production, it posed a lot of difficulties. It was just a really hard year for most corn producers. Soybeans, it depends who you talk to, but we got some good results out of our soybean on-farm trial. We did an on-farm trial that consisted of an indeterminate variety and a determinate variety, and we were monitoring growth habitat and trying to see how that might affect yield and harvestability and things like that. So I think we did get some good data out of that, and that is something we're working on analyzing right now in cooperation with all the other test sites across the state. And once we get all that analyzed, we'll have it out for anyone who's interested in seeing the results.
Okay, so you're excited about seeing those results this year?
Yeah, I think it gave us some good data. You know, on a good growing season, everything goes as planned. You don't see a whole lot of variation. I mean, things go good regardless. But when we have these tougher growing seasons is really when these trials show differences in yield and crop type and things like that. So.
Okay, all right. Well, it sounds like it's been a tough year, but it's been still a little prosperous for folks in Columbus County, depending on who you talk to. Right. So tell us about, what do we have upcoming for 2025? What's going to go on?
So the winter season is really when we buckle down and get to share all the research that's gone on at the university with our specialists throughout the state. It's a really good time for farmers to plan ways to continue to improve their operations and their profitability. And one way that we do that is through a series of production meetings. So the first that we have coming up is our soybean school. This is the second annual soybean school. Some people may remember where we used to do corn and soybean meetings at the county offices. The Soybean Producers Association pushed for a larger format soybean school to be held regionally. So we have that on January 27th, and that'll be held in Lumberton again this year. It's a longer format. It's really in-depth. It provides a lot of really good information on all the research that they've been continuing to do. And we have invited speakers from out of state as well. So it's just a really good opportunity to come and learn and figure out ways to improve soybeans on your operation.
Okay, and so that's open to, you said regional, so not just Columbus County, but Bladen, Brunswick, Robeson, Hoke, Cumberland. Anyone who wants to come. I mean, you can attend. Is there a price?
No, it's a free event, and we're providing lunch.
Hey.
Yeah, but it's just a really good opportunity. We do it regionally because the growing conditions and everything vary regionally. So if we keep you in the region that you're farming in, it can be a bit more specific to your operation and how to improve your operation.
Okay, all right. Well, that sounds like it's going to be a fun time. Are you going to be there?
Oh yeah, I'll be there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you teaching any, or just
Nope, I'm
just
there
for support?
And learning. Yep.
Watching and learning. Okay.
Yep. We have our second meeting will actually be in Columbus County. Well, if we're going date-wise, let me backtrack a little bit. We will be having an alternative crops a sesame and alternative crops information session in Columbus County in early February. The date has not been set yet. By the time this airs, it will have been set. So if you'd like to know about that, you can just call our office, and I'm happy to give that to you. So sesame is a crop that's relatively new to the area. We have had a little bit in Columbus County so far. There's been a bit in Bladen as well, and it's a crop that should do well with our conditions, our growing conditions and whatnot. There's a lot of farmers who are interested, but just don't quite have enough knowledge to really want to jump into it. So we are having Dr. David Sukoff from NC State, who's our alternative crop specialist. He's done a ton of work in sesame. He's going to come down and talk to us about that, as well as we're going to have someone from Sesco, who is a contractor for sesame, as well as someone from the Buying Point in Dillon, South Carolina, come up and talk about contracts and selling, and then David will talk about the agronomics of the crop, yield, kind of what things look like, price points, things like that. So that should be a really good information session. It's a crop that I think could do well in Columbus County for some of our farmers and might be a great addition to some of their operations. So I'm excited to see where that leads. He's also going to talk just a little bit about fiber hemp. Everyone remembers when hemp blew up years ago and everyone wanted to get into it and try it, and that was primarily for CBD, but things have scaled back quite a bit, and fiber hemp is kind of the way that's trending, so he's just going to give us some updates on that as well.
So hold on, quick question about the sesame crop. Is that like, because I have no idea, is that like sesame seed or is that?
Right, yeah. Okay. So sesame is what you think of sesame seed, but it will be used for other purposes, more like oils.
Not for eating, but for oils. Okay.
Yeah. Right. But it's done pretty well in our area, so it'll be interesting to see. I know there's been quite a bit of it grown in Bladen. So.
Now, is that particular meeting going to be held in Columbus County as well?
Yes, that meeting will be in Columbus County at our Cooperative Extension office in Whiteville. It will start with lunch at noon, and then we will go into the meeting.
Is it free as well?
And it'll be free as well.
And your lunch is free?
Mm-hmm.
Man, good times to be a farmer.
Right, yeah. And that leads into our corn and soybean meeting, which is going to be on February 17th, which is also at the office in Whiteville. Starts at noon with lunch, and then goes into our corn production type meeting. And for those of you that know Dr. Heiniger, he's our longtime and well-beloved corn specialist. He's done a lot of really great research out there, but he is retiring. So we're very lucky to have him attending this meeting and presenting for us one last time in Columbus County. It should be a really, really good meeting.
Kind of like the last little bit of knowledge y'all can get out of him before he leaves NC State.
That's right, yeah. He's had a long run, done some really, really good things. But that'll be a nice meeting as well, and of course that one's free.
And you have the date for that one?
That one is February 17th.
And it starts with lunch and then goes?
Into the meeting. Yes, ma'am. And then rounding out the winter meetings, on February 28th, we have our Southeastern Peanut Production meeting, which, as usual, we're going to host jointly, and it'll be held in Bladen County. I don't have the time for that one yet, but it will have lunch provided as well. We'll get to listen to Dr. Jordan talk about all the research he's been doing, and kind of get some updates on that.
On peanut production?
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have a lot of peanut farmers here in Columbus?
We do. We've got, our soil's pretty good for it, so we've got quite a few peanut producers. And if you are a peanut producer and are interested in attending that meeting and want to enter the yield contest, just reach out and give us a call. I'm happy to help you do a yield entry. Yeah, it's fun. We get to announce the yield winners at that meeting, and if you're a yield winner, you get a nice little plaque. It's a good time. Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, is that all the upcoming meetings we have right now?
That, as far as production meetings, we will be moving into some pesticide trainings. Actually, the corn production meeting that I'm hosting on February 17th is also going to have V credits, so private applicator safety credits, before the meeting. So if you're a private applicator and want to come get all of your credits out of the way for the next 3 years or however long, wherever you are in the cycle, you can come that day. And by the end of the day, we will have done your safety credits. You will have gotten all your extended training from the production meeting. We will have fed you lunch and you'll be good to go. So.
Oh, wow. So they've got a lot that they can get done in that one day if they can just make that time, right? Which is a good time because that first of the year is that slowed down season, isn't it? And everybody's planning. So that sounds wonderful. Well, anything else, Lydia?
That's it.
All right, well, Lydia, thank you so much for being on this episode. Is there anything else you would like to share, or share your contact information before we?
If you have any questions about any of these meetings, feel free to call me at the Cooperative Extension Office. The phone number is 910-640-6605.
Thank you. Audience, thank you guys for watching this episode of Spotlight North Carolina Cooperative Extension. We look forward to seeing you in the next one.